Hey, welcome everybody. This is Bailey, and welcome to a recorded edition of the Watering Hole. I was preparing, for the live show, and then I just went down this rabbit hole of doing more and more thinking about the protocol and research, and it's intense. And I've been going back and forth and, really talking with Mike Dre on Telegram, behind the scenes and everything. And, so I just started, like, my wheel started spinning again with some of the stuff that, we were talking about and looking at. And specifically, we were looking at minting and minting of trunk, because I had, asked him about it, and I was kind of wondering, like, our first parabolic rise up, how much of the volume, was attributed to, say, the minting of trunk, because in under the old model, trunk was backed by 25% elephant and then the 75% BUSD. And so I was like, all right, like, how much of that, impacted like the day-to-day volume and everything. And so he was throwing out all sorts of data and information. And, so whenever somebody had minted trunk, 25% of that value, directly bought elephant. And, now under our new model here, whenever someone mints trunk, 100% is going to actually eventually go to buy elephant. So that's huge, And Mike was like, "Dude, this is like BT will not be stopped. Like that's the like, you know." But then I just started, wondering about it. And I was like, it was bothering me a little bit because I'm like, yeah, like I don't think, and I think I might start reevaluating how I'm, looking at things like minting is not getting a lot of love, and minting, aka like peanuts, so like is the buying elephant every single day the right play for the protocol and the right play for me going forward, because like I was, DCAing into elephant, and then I was like, every single day I'm like, damn, like I'm just getting like less and less, like these tokens are getting expensive, um so I was like, all right, so I just started like going through like a bunch of data and stuff. So I put together a little thing to just kind of make you think, could potentially spark some conversation, within our community, because we've been doing a great job of rowing together and doing everything we can. But I think that, and I think BT had also mentioned this, like the volume needs to kind of pick up a little bit, and the number of like new wallets and everything, like it's like there's definitely room for improvement, So all right, so I'm just going to show you guys some of the stuff that I dug up. So this information right here that you're looking at, this is from the Dune dashboard, and Dallas had put together a new dashboard that's really cool, and it's all about gathering information on the liquidity pools, because those are all the rage these days. We're looking at all those things, and so what I did was I just pulled 1 week's worth of data, and started from the 9th all the way back to the September 3rd. And I wanted to take a look at just the volume of buys versus sells, and overall the amount of buy volume that we're getting into the protocol. And then I just wanted to take a look at what if that same volume happens again next week, and what price would we be at? And also, how is that going to impact Bertha? Because ultimately, all of our fates hinge upon, Bertha getting back up and running and rocking and rolling, because she's what makes the protocol, the elephant treasury. So what I did, guys, was I took a look at last week, and we have right here our buy volume from the BNB LP, okay, for the past 7 days. And this is in thousands, so 518.8 thousand. And then in the BUSD LP, we actually had a greater volume, and we had 602,000. And altogether, I just totaled it up, and it came out to a volume of buys of about $1.12 million. And so what I'm going on that figure and say this next coming week, what's going to happen if, we get another buy volume of about that same amount, that $1.12 million. Okay. And what I did was I went by the current price right now of what BNB is going for, and it's kind of shot up just a little bit, and it's a shade under $300. So right now, at the time of this recording, it's $297. And what I did was I took this value here, and I replicated like how the arbitrage system would work, because you notice here that there's more volume in the BUSD pool, but that was because we were getting a better deal there. So it's not always the case where there'd be more volume in that pool. It all depends on which ones are cheaper, and some of that depends on the price of BNB and whatnot. So what I did was I took that same amount, and then I found a distribution that would create roughly the same price in both liquidity pools. So that's kind of how our arbitrage system would work, where it would try to keep the price steady and level. All right. So this upcoming week, with the same amount, we would actually have more BNB being injected, or sorry, more USD or capital being injected into the BNB pool than the BUSD pool. Okay, so, and I'll show you guys where all that math and whatnot came from. All right, so, all right, guys, so I took that amount that I figured would go into the BNB pool. Okay, so this is equivalent to the volume that we've got in the last 7 days. So here going on, we have $632,500 in buy volume going into our BNB liquidity pool. All right, and so what's going to happen, guys, is I took this price of what BNB is going for, roughly right now, and if we spend this amount, I basically divided that amount, that USD amount, by the price of BNB, and that would tell me how many BNB we would be getting for that particular dollar amount. And it turns out that we would be injecting 2,129.6 or so BNB into that liquidity pool. Okay, so what is that going to do is, right now, guys, this is where we're at in our liquidity pool for our constant product formula. All right, so right now, currently, as we stand, there's about, 44,390 BNB right now in our liquidity pool. So over the course of this next week, if about 2,129 goes in, all right, that's going to bring our total up to 46,520 BNB in that liquidity pool. All right, so what is that going to then, make the price? All right, so all I did was I took my handy dandy little graphing calculator there, and I just screenshotted it for you. So I basically said, hey, I want X, or the BNB, to be this amount. And then I was able to look up and find it right on the constant product formula curve. and it would tell me the amount of elephant tokens that would be corresponding to that amount of BNB, the amount of elephant tokens that would be left in that liquidity pool. Okay. So from there, guys, you can then find the price. Okay. So the way liquidity pools work is your value here is equal to the value here. So these two things are equal. And then the way you get the ticker symbol, and the price would be, we're going to be looking at the dollar amount of BNB per elephant. So elephant on the bottom, divided up. So guys, we're going to have our BNB times 297. And then we're going to divide by the amount of elephants. Okay, and it's going to give us this price right here. All right, 10 to the negative 7th power. So we move this over 7 times. All right, so it's going to be those 6 zeros that we're accustomed to seeing right now, and it'll be 13 cents per million. Okay, so that's roughly 13 cents per million, a little shade over that. And that's kind of where the price would sit after 7 days if we get relatively the same amount of volume that we have been getting the previous 7 days. Okay. And another thing I did, guys, was I took a look at, all right, well, how many elephant tokens would be leaving the pool? All right, so, I subtracted this amount here from this amount here, okay? And I know it's kind of a little weird looking at it when it's all in like scientific notation, but 14th power means this is a 15-digit number. Same with this one. So this is it's 110 trillion, and this is 105 trillion. So the difference is a little more than 5 trillion tokens would leave the liquidity pool next week. Okay, so if we get the same amount of buy money there. And one of the things I did was, so I was like thinking like, all right, well, say if people are dollar cost averaging and buying elephant from the pool, most likely most of it's going to be the buy with Bertha program. So like, what is Bertha getting out of this, right? So like, how many tokens is Bertha going to grow by over the week? And so what I did was I took that 5 trillion and I multiplied it by 0.08. Because Bertha would be getting 8% for the taxes. So she would actually be netting over the course of the entire week from this liquidity pool's action about 403 billion elephant tokens. That's what she'd be getting through the Buy with Bertha program. All right. All right, so guys, the same thing is going to be happening because as we dollar cost average, and we buy elephants, sometimes you notice, on the Telegram screen, there's like so many messages now. It's like you just log in, there's like 800 of them. You're like, so it's hard to keep up, but so yeah, you're going to see that, in Telegram and everything. That sometimes you buy it with a BUSD. You're like, yeah, so now we're on that pool again, So, so over here, here's the BUSD liquidity pool, and I figured that we would have for this week, if that volume again remained the same, about $488,000 going into this pool. All right, so and you'll see like why I came up with these numbers is that the price of elephant in both pools is relatively equal. So it's going to be 13 cents per million. And then after that 13, I have like a 158. All right. And then the other one was like a 156. So it's pretty balanced and pretty equivalent. And that's what our arbitrage system would try to do for us. Okay. Yeah, so here, guys, so I was like, all right, well, we're going to have that 488 grand put in. And what is that going to bring our total up to? We got about 9.3 million sitting in there right now. So that's going to bring us up to this amount right here, about $9.86 million. And what I then did was I took our current location, all right, on our constant product formula curve for this liquidity pool. And then I found this dollar amount, okay? And comes out right here. And here would be the amount of tokens. And now, so for any point, you can find just the price, okay? So it'd just be the value divided by the number of tokens, okay? And here, guys, you don't have to like multiply it by anything because the value is $1 for the BUSD. So, so value divided by the number of elephant tokens, and that's where our 13 cents per million comes from again. And then, guys, like how much elephant token left the pool. All right, so about 3.9 trillion tokens would leave that liquidity pool. And again, if Bertha's going to scoop up 8% of that, you know, through the tax, that she's going to get about 312 billion elephant token from this liquidity pool. All right. Okay, so where's that going to leave us? Okay, so after like this week, right? So here are some of the things that have been kind of like kicking around, you know, like in my head here. So we got Bertha right here, and this was a screenshot from today. And, you know, so she has right now 94, you know, 0.55 trillion tokens. And roughly her value now is over about $11.2 million. All right, cool. So she's doing very well, you know, but I was like, whew, like, because when I started to think about, all right, like, you know, so like I just went to buy elephant. I was like, dang, I'm like not really, you know, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get like just, you know, 1 billion elephant, you know, and I, you know, I was putting in a decent chunk of change. It's like, you know, this is a struggle now. And you know, so you notice like, all right, if everyone else is kind of dollar cost averaging, they're not going to be getting as many tokens out as well either. And you know, so if we don't have a big influx of like volume or reinforcements, you know, if you know, the herd doesn't really grow and grow quickly, you know, it's going to be like a slog, you know, because just the liquidity is so deep, you know. So like, yes, like we're going up, you know, every single day and every single day, but you know, we definitely need more people involved for sure, you know. So I was like, you know, because this could, because we were talking about, all right, well, how do we get like back to peg and back to our steady state and everything? And, you know, BT's throwing around like, you know, we need like, you know, the elephant treasury to be worth like around like, you know, like $200 million. You know, so, okay, you know, like when is that going to happen? And then I started like, you know, looking at some of the other things, and like, here's, you know, our current BUSD treasury, you know, and it was like, this is like kind of low, you know, and, you know, growth over the past 7 days, it's, you know, it's been shrinking. And, you know, Bertha is from buying elephant from that treasury, you know, and it's 50% of the treasury is going to elephant buyback strategy like each day, which is awesome. Love that it's turned up like that. But she's like, you know, she's running out of dry powder, you know, like what, you know. So I was like, okay, like what's going on here? And you know, so I was like, all right, well, talking to Mike, you know, so, and you know, so he had like shared with me tons of like graphs and analysis that he has done and everything. It's like it's absolutely amazing. And you know, so like at the very end of it all, like, and I hadn't really even like gone through it yet and everything. You know, so I was just like telling him like, oh yeah, like I really like how, you know, the you know, like my channel's going, and I feel like, you know, people are like picking up like some of the, you know, the finer points of the protocol, or, you know, at least understanding like how this whole liquidity pool thing works and everything. So, you know, we were talking about, you know, the education aspect behind just DeFi and the protocol and everything, you know, and, you know, so yeah, so like he was saying, at the very end, he said, we need to also get more raffle participation. Peanuts is the secret weapon. And, so Mike is kind of like my Jedi Master, so he's like the guy who knows a lot about DeFi, and I'm kind of like, this upstart, like I've been in it since May. Like I don't know Jack, so like I'm relying on him for like a lot. And so like he was like, peanuts is a secret weapon. I was like, yeah, and then I just kind of read it and I was like, eh. But then when I just like tonight, I just started looking at all this stuff and I'm like, like are we underestimating the power of peanuts? Because everything is right now like DCA elephant, 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 elephant. Um, and I'm looking at these raffles that like people are walking away with max deposit and they put in like 1,000 BUSD. Like that was it. I was like, man, like what's going on here? Like it's peanuts being ignored. Like, is this something that we should be looking at a little more closely? So that's why I kind of wanted to make this video. Like maybe it would spur a little more conversation and like maybe maybe we should look at this like a little bit again. So here's kind of like what I was thinking, right? So all right, so Bertha's got her 94.55 trillion tokens. Okay. And she's going to get that 403 billion tokens from the BNB action, liquidity pool, and the 312 billion tokens. Okay. So Bertha's going to get, if the volume stays the same now, because we're pulling out less tokens because they're more expensive. So if the volume stays the same and we don't grow the herd, we're pulling out less tokens. Okay. So even though they are appreciating, Bertha's going to only gain about 700 billion, so over the course of the whole week, she's only going to gain, 0.7 trillion. Okay. Now at the same time frame, as I pulled this data last week, which corresponds to these numbers I'm using now, she gained 1.3 trillion. But now we're at this price point and we're moving forward. Like now she's only going to be gaining 700 billion tokens next week. The week after, if this continues, she'll be gaining less because we can't pull out as much unless our volume increases. So I wanted to take a look at this. And so if Bertha gains, this amount, she'll be up to, about 95 trillion, 95.26 trillion. And so here's what Bertha's total would be, and then times the price, the new price that we calculated after all this price action. And she would be up to about $12.5 million in value. So from the 11.2, next week she'd be worth about 12.5 million. Okay. And what I did was then I just figured out, well, what was the percent increase, say? And, she would gain about 11.8% over the week in USD value. Okay. All right. So what about this elephant buyback strategy? And what about peanuts? So what I did was I was like, all right, Mike's saying peanuts could be the secret weapon here. And all right, what if instead of people buying elephant token from the liquidity pools, what if everybody went into peanuts instead? And I just wanted to look to see what would happen, to see maybe like how that would impact things, right? And so when I was like, okay, look, how much does Bertha actually get to spend from peanuts, right? Because the when you put BUSD in peanuts, it goes to the goes to the BUSD treasury. And then Bertha takes that out of the BUSD treasury and buys elephant. And it all depends on the buyback strategy, the APR that she's cranked up to. And right now she's at the max that the system is coded for, which is 50%. So every day she's, or over time, she's taken 50% of that BUSD treasury and purchasing elephant with it. Okay. So like, all right, but does she buy all, like say if I put in $100, like, does she only get to use 50% of it? It's like, no, eventually she's going to pretty much use all of it. And so what I did was like over the course of say a week, 7 days, how much of that money would she use, right? And so I figured out that, over 7 days, if she gets to spend 50% of it each day, over 7 days, she would have spent about 99.2% of it, and then there'll still be that other percent that's still sitting in the BUSD treasury. So pretty much like over the course of an entire week, Bertha is going to dollar cost average any deposit that's made in there. So, and I just, if this kind of math right here, like blew your mind a little bit, like right here, it's just kind of like, say if you put in $100, the first day she would spend $50 of it. The second day it'd be $25. And then the next day she would get to spend 50% of that, which is $12.50. The next day she would get to spend 50% of that, and then so I did that 7 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so, over the course of the entire week, like if you put $100 into peanuts, Bertha would have already purchased elephant with $99.22 of that, so it's pretty much she's getting like almost all of it, and over time she'll get all of it. This will continue. So what I looked at was like, all right, well, what if we just went into peanuts? So Bertha, instead of getting just this like 700 billion, she would actually get the full, or be able to buy the full amount of that over the week. All right, so she'd be able to net, over 5 trillion from that one liquidity pool action, and that 3.9 trillion from the other liquidity pool. So that would actually bring her up in 1 week to 103.5 trillion. So people would be like going nuts if they saw this number like increasing like really rapidly. Like what's going on? And so, and then you'll take a look at it, and so this would be her, her total times that same price, and boom, so she would be up in worth about 13.6 million next week, and if I did the percent increase there, she would have gained 21.5% gain in 1 week of USD value. All right, so and I only just extrapolated this for like 1 week, but you guys know how compound interest works and everything. So like she would really accelerate much more rapidly with peanuts. So interesting. So I was like, oh yeah, it's like maybe this is really interesting here. So I was like, the secret weapon, like, should we be focusing more on peanuts? So I was just kind of like thinking about it. I was like, all right, well, the buy with Bertha and the peanuts, they have roughly like the same like impact on the elephant token price, and just the token removal from the LP, over the week. So, if you had like in your budget, say like I could put in $200 this week into the system, you're going to get, you could do the buy with Bertha and $200 worth of token would come out. and you would have some of it, and Bertha would have that tiny little slice. Or you can, if you went into peanuts, like Bertha would be taking that whole $200 worth out of the LPs, with it on your behalf. So it's going to have like the same price action actually on and buy volume. So I was like, all right, so that's kind of like going to be a wash, kind of equal. And then that whole peanuts is really going to build the treasury at a much faster rate. And if the treasury is the crown jewel of the protocol, like maybe, peanuts is not such a bad play. And then think about like, if Bertha comes online faster, that's going to be a faster redemption queue opened up. The pegged pancake swap price, the increased APRs we're all going to be getting, that's going to be coming online much more quicker. That would be huge for a protocol because a lot of people are hung up on peg. They're pissed off about redemption queue taking a long time. And everyone's going to benefit from like these increased APRs and whatnot. So like that would lead to like an explosion because some people, they're all about like the stable coin yield, it's they want to be the customer in the bank, they might not be interested in being like the stockholder. So I was like, all right, yeah, I mean, that definitely has merit. And then like as the elephant tokens gets more and more expensive and you're buying it, like, even though it does have that, huge, multiple X return, like potential, like times 100X plus, I've done some like, math stuff on that. But, every time you buy it now, like you're increasing your cost basis. Like, it's more expensive every time you buy it and every time you buy it. So the cool thing about peanuts is like, it's going to stay at that price. You're going to be getting like the 25 cents per trunk for a long time until that until the peg comes back, when BT turns it back on. So, as the elephant token gets more and more expensive, like, if you don't have, or if you've hit your benchmark already, like if you were going for 100 billion or if you were going for 10 billion, whatever it was, like peanuts is still very, very attractive. So you're not going to get priced out of the value of that you're getting for that. And then I was thinking kind of like selfishly, I was like, all right, like someone who, I have like, a significant stake in the protocol and everything, like people can be knuckleheads, like I trust Bertha more with the elephant tokens than the human wild card, the human factor, so I mean, I would sleep easy at night knowing Bertha held all the tokens. You know what I'm saying? Because like I know what she's gonna do. So I was like maybe it's not a bad idea to just kind of like shove as many tokens as we can into Bertha, and just like she's gonna like do her magic. So so I was thinking about that, like, yeah, that kind of makes sense to me. And then also like anyone who has elephant tokens right now. So I think like the core members of the herd have been building positions and have decent, probably have like a decent bag of elephants, because we've been getting the word out. And like then supplementing that, now the elephant token's getting a little more expensive with like this huge bag of Stampede, because like you're just getting such a deal on trunk and peanuts. That's going to really help you hang on to your elephant token longer, because it's like, all right, I just hit a 10x, but I need some cash. What if you have like a nice Stampede account to supplement it? Like you could then hold out for the real long-term moonshot of, getting that 100 times 200 times 300, wherever this is going to take us. You wouldn't feel like the stress of knowing that this is the golden goose and you have to cash some of it in, if you had like a nice like stampede cash flow going as well, and then like, yeah, just like the increased, if more action is going at the peanuts, raffle engagement goes up, so like, people aren't, taking it down with like a $2,000 like just little chump change, like, it's significant, but like there's not like this huge whale fest that we were kind of seeing, we were seeing some nice, decent pots, but now like, the winning deposits haven't been as impressive. So, get more excitement going, get more interest going. So guys, that was like I don't know, like I just I was like, oh man, like because when Mike says stuff about the protocol, like I see how much research and how much knowledge he has of it. So when he's like says things, I really look into it, because he's got very good insight and everything. So I was like, maybe we're not capitalizing on this secret weapon here, peanuts, and for me personally, like I'm a very competitive person, with things that I get engaged in. And, I've been involved in so many different kind of like strategic games and sports and all sorts of stuff. And, I'm always thinking about like, how do we win, and like, I want to win. And, like, uh, for me now, like, how do I win is Bertha. Bertha just gets as many tokens as possible, as quickly as possible. I want her back online doing her thing. And then everything's gonna take care of itself. The more time that like I'm just trying to like buy like a billion elephant but her value is not like going up as fast. Like it makes me nervous. I want Bertha as fat as possible, as quick as possible. That's kind of how I'm thinking strategically. So like personally, not financial advice or anything like that, but like I think I'm looking a lot stronger at peanuts now. For sure, because and like a huge stampede position, like you can just keep that rolling, claim some days, roll some days, and you could build up this huge salary that you can just live off of, while you get the elephant token for the generational wealth piece. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking about. All right, so thanks guys. This is a little weird little watering hole. But if if you're interested, I am going to pull off my little rinky-dink raffle at the end here. So you can either stick around for that, or if you're like, hey, all right, Bailey, whatever. Thanks guys for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Drop some thoughts. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. I'm curious for sure. All right, thanks guys. All right, raffle time for those who are in my little my group. Okay, so let's check it out, guys. So we got here the Herd Partner Network. 14 of you guys have decided to join up. So I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support and everything. So for the airdrops, guys, so last time I calculated it off of 300. So we're up to a 304.6. All right. So, and you know what? It's not like I checked it out. Like some of you guys that have shared your wallet with me. I really appreciate it. But yeah, it looks like you guys have smaller positions that you're building. And when you have smaller positions, it doesn't make sense to compound as much, so like you're not going to like compound it or roll that like every single day, because just the gas fee just eats away at all of the gain there and everything. So what I decided to do was just because we're still building and everything, I was like, all right, so I'm going to throw out this time. So last a week, I think it was 20. BUSD. So let's see. 25. So last week I gave out 25 and I've been putting it like in trunk equivalent, like if you had gone into peanuts with it. So this week, guys, I'm bumping it up again. So we'll do around I was thinking 30 bucks. So we'll do $30 and this time we're spicing it up a little bit. What I was going to do is a $20 grand prize winner and then a $10 runner up winner. So, two people get a little something. So that could be, entries into the raffle for a few days or, however you want to play it. All right. So, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to randomize the range. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have six wallets so far that have reached out to me and given me their information. So if you are a part of my community wallet herd partner network system, and you're not on this little rinky dink operation that I got going on right here, just reach out to me. All right. So I'm going to be randomizing the range. That's like shuffling them all up. Let's see. So randomize range. Boom. Here we go. Okay. And guys, I have lines or rows 3 through 8 again. Okay. So I'm going to have a $20 winner first, and then I'm going to throw your number out, and then we'll spin it again for the $10 runner up. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Am I missing somebody? Let's see. Let's refresh this thing. All right, Alex, right now. Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. $20 grand prize. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It is $20. Number 3. All right, $20. 20 BUSD. So that's 20 times 4. That's like 80 trunk equivalent in peanuts. So that was number 3. Okay, so row 3. All right, this one right here. So I'm just gonna put an 80 there. So I remember which wallet to send the 20 to, and then we're gonna do one more. All right, and that's gonna be for $10. All right, so remove that choice. All right, number 3, and let's do it again. I really need a better system. This is so really so bad. Number 4. All right, that's good, guys. 2 more people on the scoreboard that weren't on there before, so that's good. So $10 times 4, so 40. 40 trunks worth of action right there. So let's see, bold it up. Look at that. Yeah. Different fonts. Yeah, I just can't take that. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm gonna send this out. Let's see. All right. So we're sending it. All right, this is weird because like my MetaMask wallet just opened right up. Like it usually doesn't do that. Okay, so this bad boy first. Come on. All right. We're out of here. Send it. And put this address in. See, this is like that's what's weird about it. Okay. All right. So that one gets 20. 20. Let's go. All right, and then got this one right here. Okay, so this one's getting 10. Transaction confirmed. All right. Send. this guy here. And all right, guys. Maybe you'll go right into peanuts. Who knows after this little video. All right, but congratulations. All right, I'll spend it all in one place. And until next time, everybody, really appreciate all the support and you tuning in to my videos. All right, and yeah, keep watching them, and I'll keep making them. All right, until next time, guys. This is Bailey from the EMH. I am out.